2, 3, 4. Hello, internet world. It's Norma Joe. I got all my costume on. I got extra blue on my eyes today. Although you can't see it because the fucking light behind me is like washing me out. You know, if I was smart, I will switch the whole camera around so I can have the light on my face instead of on my back. Let me see. I got my cup here. Got some wine. Hopefully this shit doesn't give me a massive headache. It might though. We'll see. I'm gonna have a little drink to be true to form to my Norma Joe. Okay, this is much better. This is way better. Okay. Hello. So, it's hot as hell in here. I can't wait to take this fucking wig off. This wig is really hot. It's good in the winter, but in the summer, which it's becoming even though it's the end of February, it's just really hot already. It's like getting into the 70s, which is cool, but I want to close my window so nobody hears me talking about... I can't believe I'm already over a minute in. Anyway. So nobody hears me talking about what I'm about to talk about, which is the Joker. Yay! Okay, let me tell you a little something. I was so looking forward to that Joker movie, and let me tell you, man, it did not let me down. I should have done a video when I saw it, but, like, you know, whatever. I don't think I was making videos again at that time. It took me a little bit to get back into it. Anyways, I saw it, like, 5 days after opening day, I think, something like that, so pretty early. Well, actually, okay, I looked at my Instagram, because I posted a picture, a fan art, on the day I saw it, and it was October 9th. I'm pretty sure that's, like, I remember it being, like, a week or 5 days or something after opening day. Anyway, whatever. So, I saw it then, and just recently, I got the disc. So now I have it, I can watch it at home, and yesterday I watched it twice. I was gonna wait to see it with my family, but my schedule got all fucked up, so I was like, I couldn't wait. I really wanted to see it, like, a second time, and it did not disappoint. So good. And, like, and now that I have it at home, I can subject it to all types of scrutiny and cruelty, and rewind and pause as much as I want, and just pick the thing apart, which is what I do with movies. And I did my usual, traditional treatment of it, which is like what I do to all movies that I like, is like I watch it once the regular way, sometimes stoned, but I don't have any weed right now, so I didn't watch it stoned. I saw it stoned in the theater, but only a little bit stoned because I was like at the very end of my vape. But anyways, what was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? When I drink, I get so forgetful. Oh my god, I'm at 3.5 minutes. Oh yeah, okay, so I watch it once normally, and I watch it again in Spanish, because I understand a little tiny bit of Spanish, but not really. And so, if I'm without subtitles, I understand less. So, I like to do that, because then the second time around, I know what everybody's saying, because I just saw it in English, but it makes me, like, it lets me focus on the body language and stuff more. Anyway, I want to talk about a specific scene from the movie, which I noticed right off the bat when I saw it in the theater. And I'm sure there's already been 1,000 million videos made about the same exact topic, so I'm just being fucking lame, but I don't give a fuck. I just want to say what I want to say. So, without further ado, I'm at 4.5 minutes now. Jesus, and I say I don't like long intros. Anyway, I want to talk about the part on the train. Okay, when I was in the theater, right, and I saw that scene, I was like, this is obviously a rape scene, and thin veiled drag as a beatdown scene is so rapey, and I just want to break it down in my own I try to say where and words at the same time, in my own words, how I came to this fucking conclusion, because to me when I saw it in the theater, it was obvious right off the bat. And, there's also, like, a bunch of other sexual stuff in the movie, there's some porn theater that they always have in the background, and it has these movies playing, like, one of them's called Ace in the Hole, one of them's called Strip Search, and then at the end, it's called Zorro the Gay Blade, which I'm like, what kind of fucking title is that? But I would totally see a movie like that. But, and then it's funny because you see, like, Batman's parents with the little baby Batman, like, running past that theater, so I always think, like, were they in there, like, watching porn, like, with their son? But, I don't, no, but it's funny to think about it, But anyway, what was I even talking about? Okay, so, yeah, there's all these sexual things, and both the times when the Joker before he's the Joker, when he's still Arthur, goes to the comic club, both the comics who are on before him are telling sex jokes, and it just goes along with the themes of the movie. Like, I think it's not about sex itself. It's more about, like, people taking advantage of other people and fucking them over, like, literally and figuratively, And like one of the comedians, he says, like, if you've seen the movie, like, you know what I'm fucking talking about. But and by the way, spoilers. I hope this is not. I forgot to say that. Spoilers. Okay, everywhere. So, okay, one of the comedians, he's telling the story about how he likes to, like, have sex role play with his wife, and how they pretend that she's, like, a senior that's willing to, like, be his whore so that he'll pass her, Oh, did I say he's supposed to be a professor? I think I might have left that out. I have my drink. Yeah, he's pretending to be a teacher in college, and she's pretending to be his student, and then they fuck, because apparently that's the only way she can get an A, or a C maybe, I don't know, C for cock, and cunt, I don't know, but anyway, the other guy, which I think his scene is more perfect, it's like he's talking about, my computer's running low on storage, oh my god, this video might cut off, I don't know, we'll see, so, I hope it doesn't cut off before I finish my long point, which I know I'm going to meander all over the fucking place, because that's what I do. I'll probably put this video on double speed. But anyway, what was I saying? Alright, so, the second comic, I think his thing is just perfect, like, it just sums everything up, because his joke is, like, he's saying that, like, when women have sex, it's like buying a car, like, they want it to be reliable and safe, and da-da-da, and he's like, when men have sex, it's more like parking a car. He's like, there's a spot. I just think that part of the movie is so, like, fucking spot on, you know, it's so fucking true, and just, it goes with the theme of the movie, you know, people not giving a fuck about others, just only caring about themselves, and just, you know, just fucking other people over, taking advantage of them, and treating them like shit, you know, and just stepping on them, and then, yeah, one of the last things in his joke is, like, handicapped. I hope nobody sees this, you know, so basically, like, joking about, like, raping, women with, disabilities, you know, or whatever, so, yeah, so anyways, let me get on with my main point. So, yeah, there's sexual vibes, but not sex like how they have in Doctor Strangelove, where it's like like a plane refueling another plane and it's like they're fucking, you know? Like, that's more like just sex. This is more like rape and like being taken advantage of and stuff. So, okay. When he's on the train, these three guys come up. I'm like, it's a totally a rape scene, and I'm gonna break it down why. Okay. I should bring the movie over and like pause it and like show the screen as I'm talking, point shit out, but I'm not gonna fucking do that shit. If you've seen the movie, you'll know what I'm saying. So let me start from the beginning. Okay, so firstly, there's three guys, right? They start off harassing this chick, you know? So the idea I got from the scene is that if Arthur had not been there, that she would have been the one that they raped. But because he was there and he started laughing and carrying on, and he drew attention away from her, that basically gave her the opportunity to escape. And then it was just him and the guys. And then, of course, all their attention turned to him. And then, oh, another thing I was going to say before I get into my whole analysis is that when this movie first came out brand new, like, I kept hearing all this shit on the internet, people saying, like, oh, this movie is about incels and stuff. And I'm like, that's total fucking bullshit. Like, I don't think the movie's about incels at all. Like, okay, and this scene, I think, is the most, like, thing to disprove that, because, like, okay, I know the word incel has gone through hella semantic drift by now and expanded, and even I joked about being an incel, but the true meaning of incel originally, and the reason why incels are so despised, is because it's not just because they're these lonely, sad losers who, like, can't get laid. That's fine, you know, but the thing that makes them so despised and hated is that they're sexist, and they have this whole, true incels, like, from the start, have this idea that, like, men have, like, basically have the right to get laid. It's not a privilege, it's a right, and that we should have a, like, Handmaid's Tale type of situation where, like, men shouldn't have to go out and impress women and win them over and gain their trust in order to have sex. Like, they should just be given sex slaves because men need sex, because they're so... If we're gonna follow that logic, then I think women should be gifted, male slaves to, like, hug us and cuddle us and do whatever the fuck we want, you know? I don't know. I mean, I know all women, that's a stereotype, all women are not the same, and we don't all want, you know, just hugs and cuddles and to be told we're awesome and special and, you know, to have a shoulder to lean on and shit like that. But that's just a stereotype, you know, I'm just making a stereotype out of it. Anyways, what was I talking about? So yeah, that's the reason why incels are hated, and you don't get any, like, to say that, the character Arthur is an incel, that's totally fucking wrong in my eyes, because it's like, yeah, he's down in his life, he gets pushed around by everybody, and his girlfriend is in his imagination, spoiler, but that doesn't fucking make you an incel. In order to be an incel, you need to be a fucking sexist who thinks that, yeah, that men should just be given women because to have sex with women is their right or whatever, and they believe in male domination, all this crap, and that's totally wrong. Like, if anything, Arthur is, like, more in the women's role. Like, a lot of times in the movie, he plays the quote-unquote feminine role, in the way he gets taken advantage of by other people, and in this scene, you really see it, like, most explicitly, you know? If anything, he is playing the role of the woman who would get raped by the incel, not the incel himself, you know what I'm saying? So, anyways, yeah, so these dudes turn to him, right? And they, you know, at first it's because he's doing his little laugh, and they're like, come over, and they're like, oh, what's so funny? And the funny thing is, like, this, like, the whole movie is not like this scene. This scene really stands out because it's like, I mean, yeah, there's, like, it's a violent movie, and there's, like, blood and stuff, but this scene is the only scene that's, like, really, really going for, like, a horror movie type of vibe. Even the part where he stabs that guy in the eye and the neck and kills him, to me, that's still more like a crime drama scene. It's not horror. Like, I guess it could be, but okay, when you compare it to the part on the train train, they've got, like, you know, the lights are going out on the train, and it's, like, flashing, like, almost kind of strobe-ish, you know, and, you know, it's dark, and they're coming out of the darkness at him, and, like, when the lights go out, they move closer, and then all of a sudden they're there, and they're cornering him, and it's just very monster movie-ish, you know what I'm saying, like, and it really stands out to me in that way, like, it's one of the most dramatic parts in an already dramatic movie, and they just really go overboard with it, and, not overboard, like, bad, like, it's a good scene. It actually got, like, the most applause out of me in the theater, aside from the final riot scene, which I was just like, but this part, I loved it, so I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying it's more horror, it's like a horror movie scene in a drama. So anyways, so yeah, they come around him, they're all circling him, and he's kind of like, you see his body language, he's kind of like this, you know, like, and they're cornering him, like, he's against the wall, and they're on, like, all three sides of him, right? And then, okay, don't think that I've watched, like, a million rape scenes in movies. I have actually seen very few rape scenes in movies, but I know that there are certain stereotypes that are just kind of expected to happen, okay? And so, the first thing, like, things tend to happen in a specific sequence, and, I mean, stereotypically, you know, and, I saw a review of, Rob Zombie's, Halloween recently, and I didn't see the whole movie, but in the review, they showed, like, this one scene where these two guys rape a girl, and it's really similar, like, even the way that, like, I'll just say in a second. So, anyways, okay, basically the first step that usually happens is that, you know, as human beings, we have a taboo against, like, touching other people, like strangers, you know, and the first thing that has to happen is they break that, boundary, you know, and the thing that usually stereotypically goes on is they touch her hair. And I don't know why, because the hair is soft, I guess, or whatever, but it's usually they touch the hair, or, touch the cheek, like this, but usually the hair, I think, is the most, like, stereotypical thing, and that's exactly what they do to him. They get really close to him, they're, like, in his face, but they're not touching him yet. The first touch that goes on, it breaks that boundary between not being able to touch another person who you don't know, especially one who you obviously don't like because you're about to try and fight with them, is to touch the hair. So, he has, like, this wig on, like that green clown bozo-looking wig, and the guy, like, takes it off of him and puts it on himself, which, even though that's not his real hair, they don't stroke his real hair, but it's, like, a stand-in for that, basically, that they snatch his wig off, you know, and then the next thing that happens is they grab his bag, which I think is also pretty stereotypical. It's, like, the next thing that's gonna happen. I mean, these are interchangeable, the hair and the bag either one could be first or second, but those are usually the first two things you expect to happen, like, in a rape scene, is, like, they're gonna touch the girl's hair, and they're gonna, take her bag. And they take his bag. It's not a purse, but it's a bag, you know? They throw it aside. And then, what's the third step? Grabbing the girl. Which is what I was going to say in the clip I saw from Halloween, like, the way they grab her. I mean, it makes sense, because they don't want their victim to fight back, but it's just very stereotypical, you know? Like, they go behind them and grab them by the arms, like, under the arms like this, you know? And the way, like, I wish I could edit, like, I wish my editing wasn't down, because if I could edit, I would put, like, the two images, like, back to back of them, like, holding him, and then in Halloween, of the guys, like, holding the girl, and it's, like, almost, like, identical, I think, for you know, at least for, like, a couple of frames, you know? And, because that's just the way you expect things to happen, you know? It's just, that's the stereotype, you know? So yeah, then we start getting into the actual shit, okay? So, this is the part that sends me the most, that really, I think, tips it over the edge, because these guys are fighting, and you could say, oh, whatever, you have a dirty mind, you're just looking into it way too much, you have a dirty mind and a feminist mind, and they're just combining to tell you that this is a rape scene, and it's not, it's just a beatdown scene, like, violence is violence, there's gonna be similarities, but it doesn't mean it's rape, you know? But, like, when Arthur tries to defend himself, and he's obviously, like, totally outpowered by these guys, right? And he tries to defend it, and he can't use his arms, you know, because the guy's holding him, so he tries to kick him, right? And what does the other guy say? He says, looks like we got a kicker. Looks like we got a kicker, okay? Like, that, to me, that's the shit that just tips it a little over the edge, because yeah, they want to beat him up, they don't like him, they think he's weird, and, you know, they're just bullies, basically, they just want to punish somebody for being different. But when he says that line, and the way he says it too, he's kind of, like, laughing a little bit, and, like, it's like, condescending, and, like, okay, hello, internet world, oh my god, you don't even know, like, a fucking hour later, like, okay, I was talking my first video, and a little warning popped up on the screen, that said, like, oh, your memory's almost full, or whatever, and of course my video cut off, because I was dragging and meandering, like I always fucking do, like I am now, and, yeah, so, I had to go on some long fucking bullshit of moving a bunch of files around, and I tried to get it on my USB, and my USB couldn't even hold shit, so I'd take the shit off the USB first, put it on my other computer, and, because my other computer has, like, way more storage, but it's all busted and old, and it doesn't even go online, so, anyways, I put it on there, and then I just fucking move the files back and forth, and delete a whole bunch of shit, and go back in my photo library to all the other videos I had, and delete a bunch of shit. So I hope now I have fucking enough space to finish this. Anyway, where the fuck was I in my little rape rant? Anyway, Oh yeah. So, the part that really, really gets me, although it's so small, because this is how I am, I always hang on to the littlest details in movies, is that the guy says, "Ooh, we got a kicker," all like that, you know, and I'm just sitting here like, is that really how guys talk about other guys? Like, I know the point is that they don't see him as their equal, they see him as, like, some lesser fucking creature because they think he's a freak, but, I mean, that's kind of the point, you know, is that, like, it plays into the whole, I really hope these guys out front can't hear what I'm saying, but I'm trying, I closed the windows. Anyways, you wanna see my cat? He's right here. Hey, boy! Oh. Anyway, oh, and also my laundry got done in the dryer, my alarm went off while I was moving all those files around, and then I almost went outside with my makeup on, and I didn't want people to see me with makeup on, so I took it all off, put it all back on, so, yeah. And my buzz wore off, as if it was even there in the first place. A little bit of wine mixed with 3 different fruit juices. It's not a whole lot, but anyways, what was I saying? Right. I'm just like, is that really what guys say about other guys that they're about to fight? Do they really say like, "Ooh, we got a kicker"? Or is that more something they would say about a chick that they're about to try to rape? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like that's, I know, like I just said a second ago, I know that's the point, is that they're seeing him as lesser, which ties into the whole rape thing, because obviously anyone who rapes anybody else sees their rape victim as lesser than themselves, because they think they have the right to do that bullshit. But, anyways, I'm just saying, like, this is not your average, like, brawl between dudes, like, and firstly, they already have him outnumbered. And, I don't know, just that line just gets to me somehow. I just feel like that's the one that really, like, just cements it, you know? Like, it's just like, yeah, it's rape, but, like, disguised as, like, not rape, you know what I'm saying? But, let me move on. So, anyways, the guy socks him in the face, he gets knocked out for, like, a second. He falls on the ground, they all start kicking him, and they all, like, and, like, the way that the movie is made, the way that they choose to frame their shots and everything, like, to me it's just such a thin veiled disguise, because it's like, okay, firstly, when you see like the wide angle, and you see them kicking him on the ground, like, you might have noticed that they are, like, literally kicking his ass, like, kicking him in the ass, and, like, I know that it's, like, you could just say, like, oh, that's their way of being funny, or, like, that's the way he fell, like, with his ass towards them, so they just kicking whatever is closest to them, but I'm just like, they could have been kicking, like, his ribs, his back, anything. No, they go for the ass. Why? Because it's a sexualized scene, that's why. And, what else? And then they show another thing, which I think is really clever, is, like, obviously when you're making a movie, you know, a fight scene, you can't have them fight for real, so you need to fake it. And so they're faking it by, like, other than, you know, the thing I just said about, in the wide thing, you see him being kicked, but his face is, like, obscured, so, you know, so, like, but anyways, then you mostly just see the guys, like, you just see them, like, kicking, and then you see Arthur on the ground, and just the way, when you see him on the ground, I feel like it's also really, like, it's implied that it's something sexual is going on, because he's, like, laying on his side, and he's just kind of curl up like that, and, oh, I almost spilled my drink, and he's, like, gritting his teeth, like, and his eyes are, like, shut like that, and, like, I don't know, and also, the way that and I knew when I first saw it what I thought, but when I saw it a second time, and I could, like, pause, rewind, not really on this scene, like, 10 times, like, then you can really analyze it. I really was like, yeah, because he's being kicked, right, so his body is kind of, like, shifting like this, but the way that he's, like, doing his little movements, it's just really, like, and you only see him from, like, here up, you know, like, as much of me as you can see right now, that's how much you see of him. So, and he's, like, just kind of, like, shifting like that, and I don't know, it's just, to me, it's, like, the sexual vibe is just very strong, and you can just totally imagine somebody out of frame, down there, fucking him, and I think that's totally intentional, and, also, like, the sound effect that they choose for the movie, when, like, the sounds of, like, the shoes hitting him, it sounds like, it's like to me, it sounds like, you know, it's just a fucking impact sound. Impact sounds like that, whatever, it can be whatever you want, you know, you can do whatever you want for impact sounds when you make a movie, but to me, it sounds very, like, flesh on flesh, you know, it doesn't sound so much, I mean, it could be anything, but to me, it just pays into it even more, that it sounds more like skin against skin, like hitting skin, than shoes hitting something, like, you know, and I don't know, I just think, like, I don't know, like, I like to think, maybe, I don't know, possibly, maybe people who made the movie, maybe they, like, originally wanted, like, it to be rape, but then, like, for real, like, explicitly in the movie, but then they were like, you know, maybe that's, like, too much, you know, so they're like, we're just gonna have it be, like, a beatdown, you know, but they did the beatdown in such a way to where it's basically rape, you know what I'm saying, and, like, and so, yeah, then when he fights back, because first time I saw the movie, you can say I'm dumb or whatever, I generally don't see things coming in movies, because I'm not looking to predict things ahead of time, but, like, I didn't think he was gonna fight back, like, I thought that was gonna be way later, and I thought that he was just gonna fucking take the beat down. But the fact that right then that was when he fought back and he like shot all those guys, and like when the first guy goes down, when I saw it for the first time in the theater, I was like legitly like surprised, and I was like, woo, damn, yeah, baby, yeah, you know. I mean, I didn't literally like cheer out loud in the theater because there was only like 8. I saw the matinee. There was only like 8 people in the theater, including me, so like only like 7 other people, and we were all being pretty quiet, so I didn't want to attract attention. But on the inside, I was like, yeah, baby, yeah, you get those motherfuckers, you know. And yeah, it was very satisfying. And I mean, like, I think the sexual nature of it plays into the satisfaction. It's basically like I Spit on Your Grave or one of those movies, but rather than having like a whole movie devoted to that, it's like a 5-minute scene, you know. But it's to the same effect, you know. Like, it's like, yeah, you take it in the ass from these fucking assholes who just think they're better than you, and they think you're just some rat in a cage for them to torture, and that they think they can just fucking do whatever they want to you, and then you show them, like, no, you can't do whatever you want to me. I'm my own human being, and you're not gonna get away with this bullshit. So it was very satisfying. It was, like I said, I rewound it like 10 times and watched it over and over because it goes so fast. All the violence and all the action in this movie, like, is so rapid and so fast, like you don't have time to, like, fully drink it all in, you know. And, like, yeah, I rewound that scene, like, a bunch of times because I just wanted to experience it, like, over and over, and, like, it's just, like, so good, and, you know, like, yeah, I think it's like, yeah, if you, anyone who's ever, like, been in a subway or walking in under an overpass or anything like that with some scary people around and you worry that they might attack you, you know, and seeing any type of movie or anything like that where somebody, like, gets their revenge, you know, against their abusers, like, yeah, it's super satisfying, and, like, not that I'm saying, like, we should all go around, like, killing people, but it's a fucking movie, okay, it's a fucking movie, like, you can enjoy the movie, you know, and what happens in the world of the movie. And yeah, like, and yeah, I don't know, when, at the end, when he's turned into the Joker, and he's, like, on the Late Show, and he's, like, explaining why he killed those guys, which that's another thing, okay, I think, like, the whole thing about, like, some shit being in his head and some shit being real, like, I feel like they give you 2 freebies in the movie, like, the, spoiler, like, the whole thing of, like, you know, the first one, when he's, like, imagining himself to be on the Late Show, that's obviously, like, they just give that one to you. They're like, yeah, this was fake, and it was in his imagination. He was dreaming about it, whatever. Then the second one, when his girlfriend is fake, they kind of give that to you, too. But I feel like there's other parts of the movie which are your choice, whether you think they're real or fake. So, for me, I think that, like, anytime when something is just kind of, because, like I just said, like, everything, all the action is so rapid fire in this movie, and it kind of has, like, a realisticness to it, to where when some shit goes down in real life, it goes, like, it's just fucking, like, fast, you know? And, it's kind of almost too hard to think, you know? But some, like, there's, like, 3 parts in the movie that almost kind of drag. And I feel like those parts are maybe he imagined it, or, like, partially imagined it, you know? I feel like they leave it up to you as the audience to decide what you think is real or fake. They're like, okay, we're going to give you these 2 freebies just so that you know that this is on the table, real or fake, you know? And after that, you're on your own, you know? You're on your own to decide what's real and what's fake. And, yeah, the part at the end, when he's actually on the show, you know? This is what I personally think how it went down, okay? I think that he went on there, he just you know, the part where he kissed the lady and she was all like, ooh, clown germs and stuff, and then he took out his book, like, I think that part was all real, and up until the part where he tells the joke about the drunk driver killing that kid, like, I think that was all real, but I think after that, like, because, why, if it was real, why would they let him just monologue so long? Like, I don't think that would be the case, like, what are you doing, boy? Why are you crying? What are you doing, boy? Come here. Come here. Let me see what my cat is crying about. One sec. He's crying for no reason, because he wants to. That's what I thought. He was just crying for no reason. Like he always does, because he's a brat. Anyway, what was I saying? Alright, so, yeah. So, because, yeah, I think they would shut him off right away. You know, why would they let him have this long monologue, and the woman and the man sitting next to him just fucking sit there and don't say anything, and, like, there's just, like, at first the audience is, like, first they gasp, and then they boo and stuff, and, like, but then after a while, they don't react at all. Like, he's just going off on his long tangent, and, like, my dad and my sister have this thing where they're, like, they talk about movies having the speech, where, like, a lot of movies have, like, you know, just a long fucking speech, and this is that for this movie, and I think it's fake. I think it's in his head. Like, this is what I think happened, okay? I think he told the joke about the drunk driver. The other people, the 2 people on either side, you know, the host and, the woman said, like, no, you can't say that, and then I think all that shit happened in his head, and then the next thing that happened that was real is he said, you want to hear another joke, and then he shoots the guy. But, yeah, that fucking long fucking part with all that shit, I mean, it's really good, like, it's very emotional, but I'm just sitting there, like, I don't think the rest of the society would just sit back and allow this to happen, this long rant of his, you know. And I think they would have, like, cut the recording, like, long ago, you know. But that's just my personal opinion. I also think the part where he gets his mom's records are fake, and, like, not to say that I don't think she really abused him or whatever, because I think she did, but I don't know, just the part where he gets his mom's records, I think that that's, I it just comes off as fake to me because he's in the asylum, like, he's literally in there, and there's people, like, sitting on benches and stuff, and, like, there's all these gates and all this fencing and, like, bars on the windows and stuff, and I'm just, like, everything's fine up until he, like, snatches that folder and, like, rips it out of the guy's hands and runs full speed down all the hallways, and I'm just, like, I know that the city is supposed to be in shambles, and that they, you know, they cut funding and all this shit, but I don't believe that they don't have a single security guard in the state, crazy house. You know, not a single security guard, literally an insane person who is not committed there, is running through the halls at full speed, making a bunch of noise, slamming his head against shit, and stealing documents, and not being subtle or stealthy at all, just fucking making a huge scene. And you're telling me that there's not a single security guard in the whole fucking building that would just chase his ass down? The thing kind of comes off as fake to me. But maybe that's just the world of the movie, I don't know. You know, I like to think that part is fake, and that he kind of, like, I think the part about her abusing him is real, like, because when the clerk read it to him off the file and he said, like, oh, she was arrested for endangering her child, and then he looks up and realizes, like, oh, this guy is the result of all that, you know, and then he tells him he can't have the file, and then, I think that's what put the seed in his head to imagine all that stuff about her and her boyfriend and all those, like, clippings and stuff. All that shit I don't think is real, and another thing that's weird is that, like, it says that if you look in the paper, and I saw this in the theater too because I was looking, like, rapidly for clues and stuff, there's a part where you see, you know, you see the paper, and you're only supposed to see, like, the parts they highlight for you and focus on, but if you look to the side, you can see that it says at some point that she's 25 years old, and then they said that it was 30 years ago. So that would, like, in the present time of the movie, that would make her only 55 years old, and she looks way older, and he looks like he's 50. So, I don't know, like, and they never say his age, I don't think, and, I think, you know, okay, if he's supposed to be, like, 45 or something, like, that's fine, but, like, any younger than that, I don't believe it. And, like, she's only 55. Okay, you can say she's had, like, a really hard life, and it's just aged her. But 55 years old, she's only supposed to be 55? I don't know, man. Like, seems kind of sus to me. You know, oh my god. And, by the way, the chick who plays her as a 25-year-old is fucking hot. I know it's just, like, the lighting and all the effects and the colors they put in post and blah, blah, blah. But she's fucking beautiful. Like, they should have got that chick to play Harley Quinn instead of, the chick they got. I'm not for the chick they got. I know a lot of people think that she's really, really hot. But I don't see it, you know? I don't know. Whatever. I'm not a lesbian, so maybe I'm just missing something. But, anyway, whatchamacallit, now I went off on a long tangent, I don't remember, oh, I remember, okay, so when he's in, to go all the way back, when he's in, The Late Show, and he's saying why he killed those guys on the train, and then Murray's like, why did you kill him or something, and he's just like, because they're awful, it's like, and then he's just like, Murray's just like, oh, not everyone is awful, I'm just like, Arthur, bitch, why don't you tell them that they were all whooping your ass, why don't you tell them it was self-defense, like, he just makes it seem like, oh yeah, I just killed him because I felt like it. Like, no. They were whooping your fucking ass, literally kicking your ass, and basically raping you. And you're not going to tell everybody that. You're going to tell everybody, you're going to spill the beans that you were the killer, but you're not going to tell them the real reason why. You're not going to tell them it was self-defense. You're not going to, maybe they just think at that point, like, it doesn't even matter. He's just, you know, he doesn't even care at that point about little details like that. Like, that's not the important part. But it's the important part to me. Like, fuck, man, like, if that was me, I think that was my phone. If that was me, that would be, like, the first fucking thing I would be saying. I would be like, well, if you were in my fucking shoes, like, were you there? Were you there? Did you see what the fuck they were doing to me? And did you see what the fuck, like, were you fucking there? Like, these guys were whooping my ass. There was 3 of them, and there was 1 of me, and I'm small, I'm skinny. Like, what the fuck do you want me to do? I'm on drugs, like, I can't fucking fight like that, and they were pinning me, and they had my arms, and the guy clocked me in the jaw, and they threw me on the ground, and they were fucking me in the ass. They were gangbanging me, and you think it's wrong that I shot them? Like, that's what I would have said. I wouldn't have just been like, they're awful. Yes, I would have gone into detail, bitch, and everyone would have been on my side. But no, he didn't want to explain. He didn't want to go into it. I know it's like at that point he was far gone or whatever, and he had fully crossed over into Loki's world of chaos and treachery and craziness. But, which another thing, okay, you know what I think would be awesome? You know how they have all these fucking superhero movies and bullshit? They should totally do like a standalone Loki movie, because really when you get down to it, and this Joker movie shows it pretty well, like the Joker is just basically another version of Loki and Coyote and all those other fucking crazy motherfuckers, you know? Sure, the Joker's a little more like crime-based, but this movie really highlights the point that, like, they don't highlight the crime as much as they highlight the fact that he's just, you know, like they say in The Dark Knight, he's just a representative of chaos or whatever the fuck, and things going awry, and this shit just, you know, the system falling apart and everything. And I'm like, they should totally do, like, a standalone Loki movie where, you know, in the first Thor movie, which I still stand by, Thor 1 is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life, and I love B-movies, I love bad movies, I love low-budget movies, and movies where they had to get creative and desperate, and they had bad writing, and bad cinematography, and bad everything. Like, I love movies like that, but Thor is not that. Thor is not a movie where, like, the reason I love bad movies so much, number one, they can tend to be relaxing. Like, there's this movie I really, really love called Laser Blast, and, like, half the movie is just, like, the main boy driving around, like, looking for something to do. Driving around looking for something to do. Who does that anymore? We're all so busy and crazy nowadays with our fucking phones and shit, you know? Like, He's literally just a 17-year-old on summer break with a neglectful ass, boomer mom, and who lets him alone, and he's just looking for something to do all day. Can you fucking imagine that? The movies are relaxing, and secondly, the reason why I like them so much is because, like, I can totally imagine, like, myself in the director's role of, like, because it's like, I know that there's, like, this whole, like, there's certain criteria of what makes a good movie, what's considered a good movie, and, like, movies that can win awards, and I know Joker won an award, at least Joaquin Phoenix won for Best Actor. I don't know if they won anything else, because I'm not up to speed on these fucking bullshits, but I like bad movies and bad writing and bad everything because, to me, it's not necessarily bad. It's just different. It's not the status quo. It's people trying to use their imagination to do whatever they can with their own limited abilities. And yeah, if it comes out bad, stupid, and laughable, it's like, okay, but they tried, they try to do shit on their own terms, and maybe they don't have the experience, or maybe they don't have the Renaissance quality of other people, but they're doing it their own way. And when I see that, I just, I totally relate to it. And I'm not a movie maker, obviously, I'm a writer, but, like, I see that in some of my own artwork, it's like, where it's like I look back and I laugh at it because I'm like, oh, it's so fucking bad, but it's because I didn't know any better, and I was trying, I was trying the best I could with what I knew and what I had, and everything in my world, and that's really what it's all about. Like, I would rather sometimes have 100 bad movies that are bad because the movie makers were taking risks and trying new shit and just going with their heart and not going with the same old stock status values that everyone else has been telling them is good and bad, and rather than have 100 quote-unquote good movies, which are all the same, follow the same formula and the same emotions and the same everything, So anyways, that was a fucking long diversion. Where am I at now? Thor. Okay, but Thor is none of those things. Thor is bad because Thor is bad for the opposite reason. Thor is bad because it's just like, okay, I saw the trailer when the trailer first came out, Thor. I saw the trailer and I saw he was in the hospital and he was fighting with all the fucking nurses, and he's from another world and he's not used to this world, and it really reminded me of this book I read as a kid called Dog's Body, where all the stars are gods, and Sirius the dog star gets banished into the body of an Earth dog because he got framed for a crime or some bullshit. And he had to get used to life on Earth. And I just like those things where it's like fish out of water, I don't know, I probably said that before, but I'm really attracted to like fish out of water tales where people are just basically like dumped on planet Earth and they have to like, figure out how to survive here, like, and they make a bunch of mistakes and they make fools of themselves and they maybe get in fights with a bunch of nurses in the ER. But that's all part of, them just trying to learn how to be human, But anyway, so I was attracted to the movie because of that. And then I went and saw Thor. It was fucking horrible. It just had like a bunch of like the most immature, stupid ass jokes I've ever heard. And it was fucking horrible. And I only got halfway through it. Anyways, that was a long digression, but basically what I'm trying to say is that they should make a Loki movie where Loki gets sent to Earth in a similar fashion and is totally out of place, and he has to find his place as a human, and with human limitations, and whatchamacallit? Yeah, I think it would actually, if the way I see it, it would actually be kind of similar to this movie, which obviously I wouldn't want like just a repeat, like this movie is special and, I wouldn't want it just copied, but like, I think it could be cool if it was done a certain way, of Loki just like starting off like very clumsily and gradually like finding his balance and then eventually growing into a confident source of chaos on this earth. So, yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I could go into more shit about the Joker, but I'm already almost at a half hour. Well, what the fuck? I mean, I don't know. I was gonna say the part about the red nose being like a hooker's lipstick, the part where he's like outside Bruce Wayne's mansion, and he's like sauntering, like, okay, that's another part that kind of caught me as like not sexual, but what do you call it? Sensual. Which is very strange when you think about it, a grown man, a middle-aged man, sensualizing like a child of maybe only 10 or 11 years old, or maybe less, maybe he's supposed to be 8 or 9, I don't know. He's pretty small. Yeah, I don't know, that's another scene that I emptied my trash bin, so we'll see if, we'll see if it allows me to go further. Okay, I'll make this real short. So yeah, when he was outside the wall, I mean, I don't think there's anything like I said, I don't think there's anything sexual going on, but it's just like, he wants a kid's attention, and the way that he magnetizes him over, it's like he goes down behind the wall, he comes back up and he has like the red nose on, and I just think the red nose, like I said, it's kind of like a hooker's lipstick, like the lipstick I'm wearing right now. It's like a human eye is just naturally attracted to like a spot of one bright color on like a different colored background, and a lot of humans are attracted to red, so like rather than having red lipstick, he has the red nose, and it's the same effect. It's like a spot of red on your face that isn't red, so the red stands out, and like I don't know, just like when he goes behind that wall and he's just like, he's got that little swagger and he's like looking at him like, he's kind of walking like that, like, it's just, what's really funny is it really, really reminds me, this is another thing I felt like when I first saw the movie in the theater, is that he it really, really reminds me, of all things, of Todrick Hall's Forbidden, and the part when the kid's playing in the yard, and he sees that little white girl, like, go on the outside of the fence, and she's, like, trailing her hand along the fence, and she's just kind of like, you know, just like, she's like this mysterious, like, attractive creature that's just kind of like, I'm here, like, follow me, you know, like, you know, just kind of this mysterious force, you know, that just comes in, and you can't help but notice, you know, and, yeah, I know that's a weird, like, analogy to make, but to me it makes sense, you know. Anyways, I'm gonna cut it off before the video cuts itself off. I'm gonna put all this shit in double speed, and, yeah.